If we could get rolling here and kindly grab your seat, we've asked Christine Malzahn to kick this off with some energy and represent the day, Flag Day today. So Christine Malzahn, why don't you get it rolling?
They've asked me to sing the national anthem, so if everybody would please rise. Apparently Kelly ordered a flag and it didn't arrive in time. You have little ones on the table. If anybody wants to hold them up to get in the spirit, that would be great. Thank you.
No, we're supposed to grab a flag.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes, bright stars, through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Well, that was fabulous. Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Steve Balsam, the current president of the Chamber of Commerce. We represent Armada, Bruce, Ray, and Washington Township and the village of Romeo. Great to see everyone smiling. Arthur Brooks, Harvard business professor, teaches a class on happiness. And everybody says, you know, when I'm successful, I'm going to be happy. And through research, he's found that, you know, happy people are the ones that are successful. So great to see the smiles. If you love what you do, you love your work, you're going to bring success. So we'd like to welcome you to our 2021 State of the Community event, appropriately on Flag Day. We've got a super lineup. I'd like to start with our chamber mission. For those that know it, please join in. So to promote, educate, and assist in the growth and success of the business community. So this event would not be possible without our generous sponsors. We'd like to recognize, if you could hold your applause to the end. At the diamond level, Beaumont Health, Orchard Grove Health Campus, L&L Products, the MIT TV. At the gold level, RCC Business IT, RCC Web Media. At the silver level, DTE Energy, Metro Electric, Michigan Insurance Network, the Progen Insurance Agency, Affleck Insurance, and Tri-County Bank. At the ruby level, Advantage Living Center, First Street Photography, Greenfield Collision, Lands and Manufacturing, McLean, Majek, and Clark, and North End Tax and Accounting Services. So thank you for supporting, and let's have a round of applause. We have several distinguished dignitaries with us today, and I'd like to recognize them. If you could please stand when I mention your name. Congresswoman for Michigan 10th District, Lisa McLean. Candace Miller, Macomb County Public Works, is absent. Macomb County Commissioner Don Brown. All right, Don. Macomb County Clerk Anthony Forlini. our 42nd District Court Judge, Jennifer Andary. Mike Philbrook, Bruce Township Supervisor. Frank DeGiorgio, Bruce Township Trustee. Treasurer. Christine Malzahn, Village of Romeo President. Sam Praviti, Washington Township Supervisor. And Mike Neasley, Washington Township Treasurer. So with that, I'd like to introduce and turn it over to our honorary Jennifer Andary, who will be our MC for today. Jennifer?
Well, good morning to everybody. Thank you so much for being here. The best part of being here right now is that we are actually here. It goes without saying, each and every one of you, this community is one of the greatest communities that I've ever had the privilege of belonging to and being a part of. And being a part of the Romeo Chamber has been one of the greatest things that I've done in my life, because it gives me the opportunity to be with each and every one of you and to rejoice in and to celebrate this amazing community. And on that note, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing someone who I've come to know over the years, and I am so grateful for that connection. Congressman Lisa McClain is serving her first term representing Michigan's 10th Congressional District. A member of the House Armed Services Committee, Representative McClain is a strong supporter of our armed forces and a voice for Michigan's defense assets, including Selfridge Air Force National Guard Base. On the Armed Services Committee, I don't know why I struggle with the word. I keep wanting to say community. It's a fancy pants word. On the Armed Services Committee, Representative McClain serves both on the subcommittee. What is wrong with this word? Change it. I'm changing it. I change words every day in court, and people are like, okay, that sounds right. It's a legal term of art. She serves on both that subcommittee on military personnel and subcommittee on readiness. Ms. McClain also serves on the House Education and Labor Committee, where she will work to advocate for schools to reopen in person, learning full-time. On the Education and Labor Committee, McClain serves both on the Higher Education and Workforce Investment Subcommittee and the Civil Rights and Human Services Subcommittee. Somebody's an overachiever in the Congress this year. They are very lucky to have her. Now, prior to Congress, what I think is most special about Lisa McClain is that she spent more than 30 years in the business world. Lisa McClain knows how to run a business and supports policies that allow businesses to grow and for people to prosper. Lisa is the founder and president of the North End Support Team in Macomb County, which helps residents suffering from drug abuse and addiction, and is an incredible asset to the treatment court that we have at the 42nd District Court here in Romeo. She lives in Romeo with her husband, Mike, her 4 kids, and her dog, Peanut, who is literally the softest animal I've ever pet in my entire life. And the most important part of the week are Sunday dinners, when the family comes together and enjoy food and each other's company. I am privileged to know this kind and generous woman, and even more honored to call her my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, Congresswoman Lisa McClain.
All right, I usually don't stand behind the podium, so if I probably can't take a mic, can I? Can y'all see me? That's my big thing. First and foremost, I am honored and excited to be here, and y'all can just call me Lisa. because I think we've missed a little bit of it in Congress where what is our job? Our job is to represent the people and the businesses of our community. I mean, let's not forget, we represent you. So I want to start and just give you kind of a brief synopsis, if you will, overview of what the last 100 days have been. And I try and look for the positive in everything. And I think the positive is, thank God I've never been in politics before. Holy moly. The last 100 days have been extremely interesting. That's about the nicest way that I can put it. But I will say this, and I don't say this disrespectfully, is if we can get the extremes out of here, and we can get the Main Street, I use this term loosely, media out of the way, what I am encouraged about is we are a lot closer to the middle, and we are a lot more alike than we are different. It's just difficult to find that at times. So the beauty, I think, that you have with me representing you all is I don't have any baggage when I go to Washington. And the other thing that I said during the campaign, and it really is playing true, is I don't need the job, which is very free and very liberating. And I'll tell you a story about that in a minute. There's a lot of rules and regulation in politics, like a lot, and I break them every day. So I can't say that I'm really welcomed in DC yet, but I'm trying to make my way. So I sit on the Education and Labor Committee, right? Makes sense. I'm in business. I understand labor. I mean, it's kind of crazy. I've actually had to sign the front of checks, not just the back of it. But we're sitting in this Education and Labor Subcommittee, and everybody and their brothers are testifying, and it's about discrimination, right? Anti-discrimination, right? It's a pro-woman bill, anti-discrimination bill. Business is just, I'm just going to say it like it is. Business is bad, man. Like, we are evil. I don't get that, since if it wasn't for business, I don't know who'd be paying the bills. But that's all right. That's a story for a different time. And I'm listening to everybody. And I mean, we have the African American caucus there. We have the Indian caucus there. We have the women caucus there. We have the transgender caucus there. I mean, we have every minority group represented that there is. And we happen to be talking about women's rights and women and just how terrible it is for the woman. And I kind of looked around and I'm like, I raised my hand and I said, I know I'm out of order, but can I speak? And they're like, oh, sure, Miss McLean, you can speak. I said, well, one, I am a woman. Two, I identify as a woman. And I think we're missing one group at this table when we're talking about discrimination issues. One group. Do you guys know who that is? Anyone know who that is? I mean, they came up with, no, I think we got this group. So we're missing one group. And that's the business owner group. You know, the ones that actually pay the bills and give people the opportunity to work. They looked at me like I had 3 heads and I got reprimanded after that meeting. So, which told me I was probably on the right path. Because I said, what did I do wrong? Well, if we're gonna talk honestly and openly, because I think what we need is we need some politicians that are truthful, transparent, and consistent. Not perfect. So if y'all are looking for a perfect politician, that's not me. But I will promise you this, that I will strive for progress and that I will represent common sense, which there seems to be a little bit of lacking. But I'll tell you another story that I think is really important. Is the current administration is trying to repeal the step-up in basis for capital gains. I won't go into the long detail of it, but that's a pretty big deal. You know, on top of raising the business owner's tax that you'll have to pay and whatnot, but this would crush our family farm. I mean, it would, I mean, these family farms have been in business for generations. So I had a press conference, I wrote a letter to Biden, it got nowhere, not even a response. Pretty upset. So I said, all right, what do I do? So I thought, all right, I'm gonna reach across the aisle to my counterpart, Debbie Stabenow, who actually chairs the Ag Committee, right? So I call her, she meets with me. I said, Debbie, we have a real issue, or Senator Stabenow, excuse me, we have a real issue. Gosh, I wish I could have your help. She's like, all right, what's the issue? I said, we're trying to repeal the step-up in basis, and that would crush the family farms, yada, yada, yada. I'll spare you the details. She's like, oh, yeah. I said, and since you chair Ag, that's a pretty big deal, right? She's like, yeah, so we got a call was it last week, Kathy, or 2 weeks ago? I can't remember. 2 weeks ago, that said, hey, I talked to President Biden and we're going to carve that out. The step up in basis won't apply to the family farmers. Well, I'm thinking that's a win, right? Which it is. Well, now what I'm going to go back to is, since we're so non-discriminatory, right? How can we discriminate against the small business owners and carve the farmers out? So my point is, if you play the game and you play it respectfully and you can reach across the aisle every once in a while, you can get things done. Now, we'll still see, I haven't seen the bill yet, but we're making progress. And if you just stop watching the Main Street media, I think we have a lot of future ahead of us. One of the other things that recently happened that I'm pretty excited about is we just brought home $30 million for the district, 12 of which is going to go to roads and bridges for Macomb County, and it passed. So I'm pretty excited about that. Now, we'll see what pork they put in there and see if the bill actually passes the House, which I think it actually will. But it's time that we start working together with some common sense policies. There's not a lot of common sense in DC. There's just not a lot of common sense. And the freedom that I think I have is I truly enjoy what I do, and I like doing what I'm doing. And I am a person that loves the district way more than I love DC. So I have a flight to get on in a half an hour, so I'm gonna stop and answer questions that you all may have, because I work for you, I represent you. And what I wanna do before I do that is I wanna introduce my district director. If she'll stand up, please. Kathy Verton is my district director. She is me. You are only as good as the people you surround yourself with, and she is me in the district. So if you have issues, concerns, questions, ideas, let me know. I mean, we've put together an Ag Council, we've put together an Education Council. Listen, I've never been in politics. I think I'm doing the right thing, but I need to hear from you all to make sure I am doing the right thing, that my ladder is on the right wall. Make sense? So I welcome this opportunity. I thank you for the opportunity to represent you. I can share with you this, I'm having a heck of a lot of fun in DC. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to questions. Well, this is a pretty easy group.
Yeah, I have a question. I'm in manufacturing. We build plastic injection molds. Last year, I guess 18 months ago, there was a tariff put on China tools coming over. Now it's my understanding that they're talking about flipping it back and rescinding it. There's a bigger lobbying group than what we have in our industry. So I'm just wondering if you've heard anything about that. There was a 25% tariff that actually kind of helped our industry combat what's going on. I'm just wondering if you've heard anything about that.
So I'm going to repeat the question real quick. Is there was a tariff that was put on China. It's talking about getting repealed now. The answer, and he wants, and what was your name, sir?
My name's Tom Barr from TK Mold Engineering.
Tom, thank you, Tom. Is there going to be any talk about it? That is absolutely on the docket for the next 3 weeks when I'm in DC. So I wish I could tell you more, but a lot's going to change in the next 3 weeks. If you will get with Kathy connect with Kathy. I will give her a brief of where it stands, and I'll have better information for you as opposed to just giving you my opinion. That's the other thing. If I don't have a good answer for you, I'm not going to BS you. I'm just going to tell you what it is, but I will get you the answer. Justin.
Lisa, what's going on with the lumber industry?
Is there inflation out there?
Why are we paying like 4 times as much for a sheet of OSB as we did last year?
So this is interesting, is I had a contractors roundtable, and this was number one issue on their list. I think you have a perfect storm going right now. Is what I didn't realize, and I went back and checked it out, the actual cost of the log is roughly the same. The actual cost of the log is the same. Like, no, that can't be right. Actually, it's just a titch lower, actually. So here's what's going on. I don't know if y'all have noticed, but we are in competition with our government for workers. So that's number one, which should never be. But when we are incentivizing people to stay home with the enhanced unemployment benefits and the stimulus on top of stimulus on top of stimulus, it's really difficult to find workers. Workers at the mill, workers to transport the stuff. So we have a real, it's supply and demand, Justin. I hate to say it, it's simple economics. Is when you can't find people to work, what do you have to do to attract workers? You got to pay them more. Then when you can't get the people to work because they're making more on unemployment and with the stimulus than they are at work, put cause and effect together. So that's one. I think we have a whole issue with the transportation and the logistical piece of it. The other thing that I think that I'm doing some research on is I'm wondering if it has anything to do with our border in Canada being closed. And I wonder if it has anything to do with the pipeline being shut down and Canada getting a little bit of retribution on our end because Canada used that pipeline to refine oil. So I think you have a perfect storm going on right there. And unfortunately, I don't see that getting, I'm just going to tell you what, I don't see that getting better anytime soon. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. You know, you got the gas prices going up, et cetera, et cetera. You got a perfect storm going on.
So,
I always feel like I should walk forward.
So, with what you just explained, is it reasonable to say that the stock market's playing any sort of, game with lumber as well? And it's not just lumber. I mean,
It's everything.
I understand exactly what you're saying with regard to people staying on unemployment too long, and I don't think that's right. But unemployment was supposed to be just the idea of barely getting by until you get a new job, correct? And I know that there's been a
100%.
supplement to it, but I had heard that the futures market was why the lumber was driven up so high. I mean,
That absolutely has something to do with it.
Everybody's full of lumber.
Absolutely. It's cause and effect, right? Here's the issue. Everyone's playing games with everything, and the government and people just need to get out of the way and let business do their business. So, Justin, I think you're spot on with that as well. Now, what I will say, one thing is, I do want to echo one thing, which is very concerning. We have over 9 million jobs that are unfilled. 9 million jobs, 9.3 million jobs that are available, and roughly 300 people to fill those jobs. So one of the things I did, and if you don't agree with me, I'd like to hear from you because I do represent you. But if we have such a robust economy, we need to stop this enhanced unemployment. So I did write a letter to Gretchen Whitmore, imploring her to please stop the enhanced benefits. We have all these jobs out there. We need people to get to work, or the businesses aren't going to be open. So when it's time, when the unemployment does run out, these people aren't going to have any businesses to go back to. So I think you got to add that in. But to answer your question on the stock market, absolutely. I mean, of course. We act like we haven't seen this before. We've seen this before. That's why history actually is so important. We can actually learn a lot from history.
Anybody else?
Anybody else? Really? I thought I was going to have some protesters here.
Hold on.
Oh, all right. And if you are going to protest, just don't threaten my kids, okay? You can be mean to me, just think that my kids are off limits.
My name is Carol Poljan, and I am so much in support of you. And I am wondering what your feelings are on gun control.
She's wondering what my feelings are on gun control. I'm going to give you my political answer. No, I'm not. I'll give you my true answer. I believe in the Second Amendment, period, end of conversation. I mean, I believe in the Constitution. It is a document that has served us well, and for the past, couple hundred years, and I think we need to live by that. I will give you a little bit of my political answer. If we spent as much time, effort, energy, resources, and talking about mental health issues as we did about gun control, we'd be a heck of a lot better off. So I don't think, if you look at all these mass shootings, I don't think that's a gun control issue. I think that's a mental health issue. And I think we do a pretty poor job in this country of dealing with mental health issues. And I think our ladder is on the wrong wall. If we moved it from gun control to mental health issues, I think we'd be a lot better off. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a question, Lisa. First off, I want to say thank you for being here today. Wish you had more time. I'd love to pick your brain about a few other things. But my one question.
Call me.
Stand up.
Oh, yeah, there's mine. Cool. My big question for you is, if there's anything going on right now, what is the current plan and what are your thoughts on big tech censorship?
Yeah, call me because I have a lot of thoughts on that. You need to declare what side of the fence you are on, right? I'm a free speech type of person, but free speech comes with some liability. So which side of the aisle are you going to be on? And I don't care, but you got to declare and you got to pick one. That is, I don't think we're going to deal with that in the next 3 weeks, but they are in committees right now dealing with censorship. And what I think you'll see is I think there's a little bit more on both parties that are concerned. I know nobody wants to hear that because that doesn't really fit the narrative, but that is the honest to God's truth. There's a lot of concern on both sides on big tech, a lot. And I don't think you'll see anything come to the floor until after the August recess, just because it's so complicated. Number one, it's really not complicated, but they make it complicated. But also number two, the longer it waits to get to the floor, the more support you're going to have from both sides. So I know that kind of sounds counterintuitive, but you don't want it to come to the floor now because it doesn't have enough votes to pass, to be honest with you. So the longer you wait, the better, but that is top of everybody's mind. Anything else?
So Lisa, what was your biggest surprise when you arrived in Washington, D.C. as a non-politician?
Maybe the biggest surprise, there was a couple of them. It is a swamp. I mean, it is, and I don't say that negatively, but there's been a lot of people who have made a career in DC. A lot of people. And I think the biggest issue is they don't come back to the district enough to really connect with the district, for lack of better words. You know, you do kind of get lost out there. You know, you get kind of caught up in the Congresswoman Lisa McClain. You got to get back, I think, to your roots and get grounded. And I'm shocked at how many people don't. I mean, I've done 11 town halls, and my colleagues think I am the dumbest woman in America for that. I actually think I'm smart, because how am I supposed to represent you if I don't hear from you? And do we have the hecklers there? Yeah. But what I'm really surprised is you get behind that keyboard, man, and you're big and you're tall and you're strong and you're tough. But when you get face to face and you really want to debate me on an issue, I mean, you're a wilting flower, man. So, I mean, and we can debate on the issues. I'm not saying I'm perfect and I know everything. Debate is good. Right? It either makes me stronger in my opinion. Like Justin, I may say, oh no, I don't think the stock market has anything to do with it. But yes, Lisa, I think it does, and here's my 7 reasons why. Well, I'll go back and research it. Oh gosh, you know, I never thought of it that way. Debate is a good thing. It either gets you more grounded in your principles, or it gets you to change your mind, like, you might be right on that. So many people are afraid to do that, right? The only thing I asked in my town halls was just please be respectful. Don't swear at me, don't swear at my mother, don't threaten to kill me, don't threaten to kill my kids. That's the beauty of living here. Yeah, I mean, and it's been extremely respectful, right? So I think that was a surprise. The other surprise that, and I honestly say this, is I've called every member of the Michigan delegation, both Republican and Democrat, and I've met with everyone but one. Anyone want to guess who that is? Tlaib, shocker. But I've met with Peters, I've met with Stavanaugh, I've met with all of our reps, and I believe that, again, get the media out of the way, we all believe in Michigan, right? What's the number one, I know I'm not supposed to say this, but I say it anyways, but what's the number one job of a politician? Represents the constituents. That's cute. It's true. But what's my number one job? What's my number one goal? I got to get reelected, right? Otherwise, I don't have a job. I got to go back in the private sector, right? That's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing, because you all elect me to represent you. Well, if I'm not listening to you, and all I want to do is hammer my agenda, it's not going to play real well long term. And you're already seeing that right now. So I'm surprised when you reach across the aisle and when you meet with these folks, hey, can we agree on the Great Lakes? Can we agree on Michigan? There's got to be something that we can agree on. Let's work together. I mean, I'll give you an example. I worked with Andy Levin to bring home $12 million. He brought home $11 million from his district. You know, he's in Macomb County. I brought $12 million for bridges and roads. We worked together. I mean, you're not going to see that in the media because, my God, we're supposed to hate each other. But you really don't if you can find some common ground. I mean, the easy thing is to find what I don't like about you. The hard thing is to find what I do like about you. And if you lead with that, I was kind of surprised. Like, I couldn't believe they took my call, right? Like, hey, Debbie Dingell, it's Lisa McClain. Will you meet with me? Sure. I'm like, you will? Now, we'll see if it goes anywhere, but I don't want, if we can work on something together to bring something back for my district, good. I don't even care who gets credit. Let's just bring it home. All right, I got like 2 more.
Good morning, Congresswoman. Thanks for being here today. So
Thank you.
on that message of collaboration that you just spoke of, the American Rescue Plan was passed. We're all going to pay for it. Our grandchildren are going to pay for it for years to come. We're really trying in Michigan.
Perhaps, it's got to pass the Senate.
Perhaps. Okay, so it's going down that road. There's a lot of businesses that are trying to get local municipalities, local government entities to work together to really have that quote-unquote transformative impact we keep hearing about. What are your thoughts on that, and how do you see Michigan, the county, and regions coming together to really have some impact that we can say that was money that, even though we may not all have wanted to spend, it was worth spending because it got us here?
So I've always been a big proponent, and I think this is coming from my business. In order to get anything done, you have to have relationships. I mean, one, you have to have relationships. You can't, it's very, very difficult, I don't want to say you can't, but it's very, very difficult unless you control 100% of the purse strings to get anything done without relationships. So the beauty of, for me, being in the minority is it's given me an opportunity to really build relationships. And all you got to do is look around this room, you know, from Pam to Doug to Don to Sam to, I mean, take a look around the room. This is a community that believes in community. Not perfect, and I'm sorry if I forgot people, I didn't mean it. But what can we do together? And I think so often we're afraid of change. And you know, the world is evolving, the community is evolving, and I think we can do a lot of and as opposed to or with change, but I really think it starts with relationships. And I really think it starts with what do we agree on as opposed to what do we disagree on. I mean, I really think it starts with that. But I also think it starts, and I am lucky. I mean, I am blessed. I put together a dinner for all of the state reps and state senators, and I can't believe it, they all came. Now, I paid for dinner, didn't I? But my point is, if that's what it takes, but again, we're not perfect, but I believe in my heart of hearts, we all want to move our community forward, our state forward, our country forward, or we wouldn't do this. So I think it starts with relationships. And let's focus on the issues and less personalization, right? You don't have to call me a name. I mean, you can, but it's really not going to do anything. It doesn't deal with an issue. Let's focus on the issues. So, one more. Now look, I had this speech prepared. I didn't use it one time. I know I forgot something. Okay.
Hi, Lisa. I'm Joe Warden with Tri-County Bank here in Romeo. We have 3 recent high school graduates with us. And 2 are from Romeo, 1 from Armada, and I just wondered what your message is for them.
Oh, well, I got 2 messages, and thanks for lead-in. That was a good lead-in. Did you pay him? Here's my message. What's your name, honey?
Why don't you guys come up to the
Yeah, oh, introduce yourself.
I'm Sarah.
Sarah, hang on, I got something for you, Sarah. Okay, Sarah.
Come stand up here.
Sarah, I'm getting to you, Sarah. Connor. And Mackenzie, did you say, did I?
Serena.
Serena, I was close. So first and foremost, what I think in my message to you is, number 1, always start with kindness. If that doesn't work, you can always use your foot, okay? But always start with kindness. But more importantly, this is your world. Look around. You are going to be our future. You are our retirement. I tell my kids that all the time. You better get a good job because you're my retirement. But I am living proof. I've spent 20 plus years in Romeo, Michigan. Everybody thinks of Little Romeo. When they think of Michigan, they think of Detroit, they think of Lansing. Lisa McLean from Romeo, Michigan. I'm one of 435 people making policy for the country. Still scares some of you, I know. You can do anything you set your mind to. You got to have a good vision and a good strategy. You got to work hard, and you got to have a true passion. And if you put your mind, look at all these business owners out here. They weren't given anything. They got to where they were. They were smart enough. No disrespect, I don't mean, but I don't think anyone out in this audience is the Harvard valedictorian. Am I right? But we were smart enough, we had a good game plan, and we worked. There is no substitution for hard work. And I know all the stuff that you're getting right now, you gotta work hard. But if you work hard, that outweighs brilliance every time. To be truly brilliant is to have the brains and the work ethic. And don't ever forget about that work ethic. It teaches you some good lessons. So with that, I'm excited to give you, this is my first time doing this, the Congressional Certificate of Excellence. So make sure you frame this on your wall when I'm president. No, thank you very much, Connor. Thank you very much. Connor's going to attend MSU. You U of M fans, we won't hold that against him, right? No, Serena. You're going to be Mackenzie to me.
I will be attending Siena Heights University.
Siena Heights. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What did I do with my last one? You don't get one. I'm kidding. What did I do with it? Did I give you two? Sarah, right? Yeah. Oh my heavens. Did I give you two, Connor? Are you sure? Connor, you better look again. I just had it. Bear with me. Oh, Sarah, you're right on the top. You're on the top, though. And what are your plans, honey?
I'm attending the Honors College at Grand Valley State University.
The Honors College. Very good. Don't forget your roots. Don't forget your roots. So thank you very much. If you have questions, issues, concerns, please don't hesitate. I promise I will give you the answer. I strive for truth, consistency, and transparency. I'm not going to BS you, but I'm going to tell you as much as I know, and I'll give you the inside baseball as much as I can. Thank you very, very much.
Continue on with the program, but please feel free to continue enjoying that delicious creme brulee. I may still have some like literally dripping from my face. I also wanted to recognize, if he is in here, someone who's a little tardy to the party. We have our state representative, Doug Wozniak. The Woz. So at this point in time, I would like to bring up our distinguished local leaders up to these lovely wooden chairs. I promise not to make it too difficult for you. Mike Philbrook, Sam Praviti, and Christine Malzahn.
I know, right? Here comes Sam. I think Mike.
This is where I get to act like a person who loves to go public.
Absolutely.
No name calling.
Yes, now if we could all act like people who go to the open meetings and the public meetings, the animal portion of the program begins now.
Their microphone is underneath. Okay, thank you.
Put you in the middle. Your bachelor number.
It really does. It looks like. I don't think, who else? I think you guys might not know Dating Game, but there might be a new one.
Oh, to tell the truth.
Yes, even better. All right, I think we're going to start with Ms. Malzahn, as we're right here. I think we're going to give some time, if you would like to briefly first address if you've prepared anything, and then after that, I'd like to ask some questions, if that's okay.
Sounds great.
All right.
Thank you. It's okay, I'm going to stand up out of this chair until the question and answer.
The question and answer period? Would you like the
fire round
podium?
period. No, it's okay, you can stand there. Although I don't have the height disparity that poor Lisa does, so everybody I'm sure can see me. Thanks for the chamber, really, for this wonderful opportunity and to allow us elected officials to come and just, engage with mostly the business community. Usually the business owners, don't have a vote. And I often think that's an overlooked feature lacking in the way that our election system goes. So it's always great when I can engage some of the businesses and get some feedback as well. And I do encourage that, just like Lisa does. I am here to serve the Village of Romeo, and I may not always know what your needs are, so take a moment, give me an email, give me a call, and hopefully we can work together. I just jotted down a couple of projects that are happening in Romeo, just to sort of give a quick update. You should start seeing some work. I'm extremely pleased to announce that Romeo was awarded a transportation grant from SEMCOG. I applied for this grant last fall for a pedestrian crosswalk project, much needed in the Village of Romeo, so that hopefully our visitors can have a safe way to traverse our community. And so it's a $363,000 project, and Romeo was awarded a $190,000 grant of that money. So thank you. We're going to do this as a joint project between the Downtown Development Authority and the village, so we both budgeted a portion of the cost share. And what you should see are 5 crosswalks. So along Van Dyke, you'll have a pedestrian crosswalk at Washington Street. For anybody who doesn't know that, that's down by Greg Tarr and Little Caesars Pizza. We'll see an enhanced crosswalk at Lafayette. You'll see improvements to the northwest downtown at the light. You'll see a crosswalk down at Newberry, which is where the Masonic Temple is. And then we're going to install 2 crosswalks on Bailey Street, at St. Clair, and also at Rawls. So it's a surface treatment. There's not going to be any blinking lights. You don't have to stop there, but it'll be a surface treatment on the pavement, and then some signage. All of our curb and gutter will now be ADA compliant, which I think is huge, to make sure that everybody who may be a little challenged disability-wise can again traverse our community. So that project, we're in the process of bidding it out right now, and we should be seeing that work done in 2022. So it's very exciting. Secondly, Romeo is committed to improving our regular sidewalks, our residential sidewalks. If anybody has pushed a stroller, ridden a bike, jogged down those sidewalks, you have to be very careful. As a jogger, former jogger myself, I preferred to run in the street because I had less of a trip and fall hazard. But we've been working 3 years in a row now. We have budgeted money as a cost share savings with our residents. They pay $80 a slab, we pay $80 a slab to try and improve those. So that's good. This year, I have included the sidewalk that's missing at the end of Bradley Street, running up to Copperwood Commons, connecting to Washington Township, across from the Nell Middle School, because I think it's very important for our students to have a safe route to school. So this will serve as a route for them to traverse. Again, it used to be parking there, and there was a pedestrian crosswalk at the light, but now most of our middle schoolers, as far as I know, aren't driving yet. So
They aren't.
so we have more walkers. So I'm excited to be able to put that missing link in place. And lastly, big announcement that I made at last month's meeting, we are working on a revamp of our community park. I had approached Ford Motor Company when they announced they were leaving as an opportunity to donate some money to the Village Park in memorial. They've been such great partners. We hate to see them leave. We hope that they still won't leave, but we needed a better gathering place. We needed to revamp that Village Park. That gazebo, not ADA compliant. It's seen its better years. The wood is rotting. It takes Parks and Rec quite a bit of money to sort of maintain that. So we're hoping to revamp that into a small amphitheater, reposition our park, maybe a small playscape. We'd like a great sound system so that the concert series that we have in the park, or when Santa comes to visit, or there's a wedding, that it's much more functional. So Ford Motor Company generously donated $70,000. The MIT TV generously has donated $40,000. Unfortunately, we have a $300,000 price tag. So we're still looking for any more sponsors. And so we're going to do this with a Friends of the Village Park collaborative group. They're actually going to sit and meet and review a couple of site plans, take a look at what would be most advantageous to have in that park, and help us fundraise. So if you are at all interested, if your company has some resources that you wouldn't mind sharing with me, again, I'd appreciate an opportunity to speak to you. That's it in the village.
All right.
All right.
We're going to turn it over to Mike now. Yep.
Thanks. So anyways, I'm like a fish out of water up here. It's kind of like Lisa said, I'm not much of a politician, never considered myself a politician. I don't speak with big words and long sentences, like you're going to probably find out when I start reading my speech here. It'll be short, 3 minutes, or when 3 people walk out the door, then I'll stop. Anyways, we also have a SEMCOG grant that we were awarded for a sidewalk that we're going to be putting in between 2 of our parks, one of them just west of Van Dyke on 33 Mile Road, and it will connect to the park behind the Township Hall off of Gate Street. So the sidewalk will run along the front of Sheena's, and it'll also run down east on Kading Street, and the 2 parks will be connected. In the wintertime, I don't know if anybody ever seen when you're driving that there's a lot of people that struggle to manipulate the Van Dyke corridor to get to Sheena's to do some shopping. You got snowbanks on the sides of the road. There's not much of a shoulder there, and I feel kind of bad. We are fortunate enough that, there are people in our community that are probably less fortunate than some of us be able to drive a car, that they have to walk to these places. So I'm really looking forward to something like this happening. This was set into place by our previous administration. We're just kind of doing the fine-tuning to it right now, and it looks like it's going to get going hopefully by the beginning of July. I also wanted to talk about some of the developments that we've got going on in our township, which always seems to be a big topic. But currently we have 2 subdivisions being developed. One is Pond Creek Estates at 33.5 Mile Road in Van Dyke, and another one, Highland Hills on 33 Mile Road west of Fisher, with another one to get underway at 34 Mile east of Campground. It's Insignia Point. All of these fit into our current zoning, our master plan. In our industrial corridor, we have 120,000 square foot building being built, 2 others that have just received site plan approval, and 2 additional are at the preliminary engineering phases, of which one of them could be 100,000 square feet or bigger. We have a community that's made up of township residents that's possibly exploring the possibilities of building a park on 143.5 acres of township-owned property at 36 Mile and Hip Road. There will be nature trails for jogging, walking, and hiking, and the possibility of fishing on 2 of the ponds located on the property. The committee has been in touch with the Clinton River Watershed to work with them for possible funding, and we are waiting to hear from the committee to hear what our options are. It's a great piece of land that was donated to the township about 30 years ago by the Ligon family and actually Gene Lane from L&L Products. There was a fire that had taken place back in the day, and the fire department did such a great job of extinguishing the fire and saved L&L Products from millions of dollars worth of damage. So that was their way of awarding or thanking the township for doing such a great job. They donated 143.5 acres, plus they donated an $85,000 fire engine at the time too, so, which is still in service today, and that's our engine 1 actually. So we appreciate that, and now we're looking at possibly turning it into a park. We know our township's growing. What we allow in the direction we go is what is important. Sticking to our master plan is the most important. The staff at the township, including the ZBA, Planning Commission, along with the Township Board, are the greatest and all work so hard and share with myself the passion to make Bruce Township the best that it can be. And it's truly an honor to work side by side with them. That's pretty much about it, so nobody walked out.
See, you did it. You did. But truly, during the board meetings, he stays exactly that level, even though everybody's getting all up in arms and going crazy and raising their voices. Mike will just be like, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's nice to have a level, I would call it a level head. But
Actually, I had to make an apology to Christine this morning because we had a little meeting on Friday and we got a little heated up.
You got heated?
I had, it said the Italian guy that took over a little bit. So I made my
Speaking of Italian guys, Mr. Praviti, you're next, and I swear, if you talk about somebody improving for exercise, I'm taking it as a hint. So there's so many activities that are needing to be done, so I think I need to be a little more active. So we'll take advantage of that. The floor is yours, Mr. Praviti.
Okay, thank you. It's an extreme honor to represent Washington Township. Like Mike and Lisa and everyone else said, I'm not a real politician, or at least don't consider myself one. I've always been more the worker bee, not the polished speaker. But again, I'd like to thank the Chamber for allowing us to speak today. We have a lot going on in Washington Township. On the infrastructure side, we have a lot going on. It's very huge. We're planning to bring water down 31 Mile Road and also water up Powell Road to 32 Mile Road, which will help, not only help for fire, to help fight fire, but also help decrease home insurance as well because of the water availability near the home. We plan to pave Powell Road all the way to 32 Mile later in the year. And the big exciting part is we're developing an industrial park on 30 and Powell Road area, which will help diversify our tax base. We've been traditionally a sleeper community, so by having this industrial park area, it'll help diversify our tax base. And we've already sold about a little over 40 acres, and we got a lot of exciting new industries coming to the town. Speaking of lumber cost, lumber's going through the roof, but yet building permits are still coming in. People are still attracted to move to Washington. We have developers and builders still coming to build in Washington Township, and also a lot of people are reinvesting in their homes with pools and decks and other amenities in their house. And throughout this whole process, even through COVID, our building department's been right on top of it, keeping permits going, and we haven't skipped a beat. We've been keeping up with it. Some exciting new projects we have. A lot of you have seen the outlet outside of Meyer at 26th. During the process of working on the inside, we're going to have a tropical smoothie there, and on Diamo to Go, a physical therapy place, and another restaurant there. We also have another developer looking at campground in Van Dyke area to put another strip mall there with a few restaurants, another ice cream shop, and possibly a Tim Hortons or a Starbucks in that location as well. Yes.
What?
And also the strip mall at 31 and Van Dyke, they're going to be putting a new facade, which reinvesting in the community. It'll bring the strip mall back to today's standards, and also adding sidewalk, which will help connectivity up there in the northern part of Van Dyke. And also, speaking of new businesses, I'd like to welcome K-Blocks as a new barbecue business in our town. I'd like to welcome them, and also the Daily Blend in Frontier Town, two great additional businesses. When I did take office, that was the questionnaire I sent out. The number one answer I got was people wanted more restaurants. So if you're a restaurateur, if that's a proper word, you're invited to come to Washington. All the restaurants people are looking for. This past March, we approved our budget, and I'm proud to announce we did a $1 million budget for a sidewalk gap program, which will help connect our town to the Orchard Trail, to our schools and businesses. So right now, the hard part is all the easements, so we're getting the easements locked in, and also part of the trail there in northern 32 Mile to help with the junior high as well. So we're hoping by fall to start laying the sidewalk and asphalt to connect the town. On the safety side, we continue with our police liaison at the high school, and during the summertime, that police helps the deputies out on traffic control. And we've also secured 2 new parcels of land for future fire departments in the northern part of the township. And most recently, probably many of you have seen at 28 Mound, we've opened our 3rd fire station. So as a site ease way into that, next Friday, June 25th at 11 a.m., we're having an official ribbon ceremony at the fire department, so everyone's welcome to come and attend and check out our new fire department. And also that same night at Jimmy John's Field, we're having Washington Township Day at Jimmy John's, so if you're interested, buy your tickets at Jimmy John's Field. And that's about it for now. So.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Thanks for letting me speak.
I think we'll start with you, Christine, and I'd like all of your answers sung, okay? I appreciate your beautiful voice. You really don't have to sing them. I mean, if you could, that'd be great. I think everybody, obviously, since we are here finally in person, and our last get-together was 2019, So the last time we were all together was 2019, pretty much. How has COVID affected Romeo?
Well, we were lucky enough, we have, a fairly small staff, and during the majority of the beginning of the shutdown, like everybody else, we pretty much closed the doors, but our staff still reported. So we were able to, with the exception of about a 5 or 6 week period, I believe, from April to mid-May, where people were working remotely. But we've been able to maintain, our office hours. Walk-ins opened back up as soon as we were able to retrofit the village office. If anybody's come by, we did sort of rotate a counter. We put some new flooring, gave it a little facelift, made it safe for our employees to welcome our residents to come in. Because we're such a walkable community, people walk by and want to come in and pay their water bill or pay their tax bill. And so we're happy to be able to welcome them inside and do that. We found it difficult, again, being a small staff. We don't really have any IT department. Tag, I'm it. And I don't have a background in IT, by the way. I just have a computer. But holding meetings remotely through Zoom was a challenge. But we found a way. We worked it out. I got really good at PowerPoint spreadsheets so that we could, have this display up on the screen. And actually, now that we're used to Zoom and remote meetings, I actually kind of like the flexibility to be able to be in my den with pants on. Right, but
fair enough.
Right, but having those meetings where I don't always have to, drive to a venue or take time out of my evening schedule to sit in a stuffy room. So I think it's okay. I think we've sort of learned. I think everybody appreciates in person because you can tell emotion and you can tell, get a little more positive feedback. But I think we're all just working through it. So,
excellent. Mike, how about you? How's COVID affected?
Same as like Christine was mentioning, it really hasn't we never shut down either. We changed our hours. We worked Monday through Thursday from 8:30 to 4:30. The girls worked right through their lunches. We followed all the state guidelines. Everybody was wearing face masks. We were cleaning. Fortunately enough, we had no COVID issues with any of our staff, or we had a couple close calls. But we were able to still maintain and still keep going. Also, as Christine had stated, that virtual meetings are kind of nice. We did continue having I don't think we even stopped. We never even skipped a beat. We just kept things going the whole time. And now that we're open back up, it's great we first started, we couldn't see anybody. Our meetings were not in person. And it's nice to have people come to our meetings. It's nice to have people walk through the door. We encourage to see our residents in our community come into our building, and I look forward to seeing many more people in the future. But no, we're back to somewhat, I feel, normal now. So I'm glad for that. I recognize everybody.
Sam, what about you in Washington Township?
When I took office in Washington, the first thing we did was implement. We got laptops for all the staff there, which paid off for us hugely because we didn't miss a beat with it. During the week of Easter, we were hit pretty hard at the township with COVID and almost in every department. So technically the offices were shut for about a week and a half, but the staff was all still working, still checking emails, phone calls, everything was still being done remotely, and we didn't miss a beat. So I give major kudos to all the workers. I know government workers get a bad taboo in society, but I got to say, with me there firsthand, I can see that they're really all working really hard. And then our treasurer, Mike Nicely, came up with a great idea in our front lobby system. We kind of instituted kind of a bank teller window, and that's really helped a lot. We've still got people coming in. We're taking care of their business at the front door, and again, the same things. The nightly cleanings and putting up the plexiglass, and we're kind of we're growing faster than the building will allow us, so we had to work through a lot of items, but we got there, and like I said, major kudos to the department heads and the staff at Washington. I appreciate all their hard work.
I know that in the court that we've still, government employees do get a bad rap, but we've still been there, and it still surprises me. You'd think that you'd enjoy seeing naked people every day, but it's not as pleasant as you think it would be. And the fact that you'd have to say it to someone, sir, you're in court, please put some clothes on. I don't know if you guys deal with that in your meetings or...
Not yet.
Not yet?
Don't give anybody any idea.
We've had some people eating at the dinner. You hear the dishes clanging, but that's about it.
It's unbelievable. So I know that Zoom it can be challenging, and like Christine mentioned, that there's nothing that takes the place of something in person, and to understand the significance and that gravitas. I know that my honor students know what that word means. Which I'm very proud of all three of you, by the way. I just have to interject. I know I'm getting ahead of myself. But I think that, do you foresee a time, or are there any limitations on you right now where you wouldn't be able to go back completely in person, back to business as it was pre-pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, currently we're taking it day by day right now. We still left the plexiglass up right now. We're still trying to, we've actually put a front person at the front office to kind of be the kind of the runner back and forth and try to keep most of the people in the lobby as much as we can. We still, obviously, if you need to come and see a department, you're more than welcome to come in. We're still following the state guidelines. If you're not vaccinated, we ask you to wear a mask. If you are vaccinated, you don't have to. And as for our meetings as well, we've removed the local emergency act, so our meetings have gone back to in person. So I think it's kind of neat to be back together because you kind of miss the dynamics of being in person. With everyone on a Zoom call, they kind of forget the whole Robert's rules, and it's kind of people talking over one another and that kind of thing.
Your board talks over each other?
Yeah, shockingly, they do. So it's kind of good to go back to normalcy, if that's all.
All right. So this basically is more directed to you and Mike. So you're about 7 months on the job, a little more. What has been the biggest challenge for both of you with regard to the position you hold?
I'll let you go first. I may say something wrong.
Your turn.
Mike's going to go this.
It's been a challenge. I mean, the first day that we were on the job, our board was November 20th. That was our first board meeting. We went right into a board meeting. It's all the topics, the subjects. Things change from day to day. You don't even know what tomorrow's going to bring. It's just been a constant challenge. Getting to know the terminology, getting to know the wording, the attorneys talking, and the engineers. It's been a learning battle. I mean, I've been in the trenches my whole life. I mean, you give me a set of plans, a backhoe and a loader, and tell me install all that infrastructure. You come back in 2 weeks, everything's in the ground. But the back end, dealing with the people, dealing with the engineers and the attorneys, it's a whole different ballgame. And when you see something that needs to be done, it doesn't get done overnight. It takes time. We got to go through the motions. So just things like that, it's really hard to see something that you know needs to change and know that you just can't do it tomorrow, and it's got to play its part. We got to go in front of the board. We got to discuss it. We got to bring it up for public comment, and it's those are the hurdles. I love talking to the people. Anybody that calls in there, I want to try to reach out to every one of them. If they got a complaint, whether it be good or bad, I spend a lot of time just trying to stay in touch with the community, and I really want to continue to do that. It eats up a lot of time, but I mean, that's the most important thing, is just trying to feel the need of what our people actually want, and try to make everybody feel very comfortable with where they live, and that's the best place that they could actually feel to call their home. So, you know, that's all. But other than that, I love the job, you know. So, and if anybody's got anything, they got any suggestions, positive or negative, I mean, I've got my phone line's always open. Please give me a call or come on in. So.
Sam, what about you?
Yeah, like Mike said, we took office November 20th, and I took the job more to do more stuff out in the community, I thought. I didn't realize how many day-to-day meetings and how many, as Mike said, there's a lot of balls in the air you got to get done. And I guess coming from the private sector to the public sector, just how the government process works, you can't just snap your fingers and it's done. You have to go through the actual protocol. So part of that's been a new challenge, making sure we hit the certain deadlines to make it to a certain meeting to get approved. And also I'm trying to rebuild the kind of our tri-community relationship here, and hoping we can forge it back together and work together. Oh, thanks. So I'm hoping to, anyway, hopefully make a new era, kind of bring back the old with the new era, but working together.
I understand what your hands are saying.
Yeah.
I really do.
And like Lisa said, politics is tough. Local politics is a million times harder, I think, than national politics sometimes. It's some of the things. But again, like Mike, I take big pride, and I try to answer all the calls every day. If not, my assistant Rachel, she's always reminding me, and I try to get back to everyone and try to solve a problem. A lot of times it's something simple, and we find a way to resolve an issue. But I know currently we're working out the Parks and Rec agreement, so I'm hoping, we think we got a solution, and this Wednesday we're hoping to push that through and keep our Parks and Rec together. I think it's financially the right thing to do, and we also not only share resources, but obviously we save money by sharing resources and overhead. So I guess
Speaking of Parks and Rec, would that be something all three of you are on board with together, working as a team? And why is it a benefit to forge that alliance?
Again, between both towns, well, all three towns, we share many parks together. And basically the overhead is, we save on the financial side of it by having just one Park and Rec director, one accountant, one thing. If we were to break up, we would all have to hire the same identical staff person for each position, and then you would lose out on all the resources. We could have someone, the northern part of Washington, go visit a Romeo or Bruce site, or vice versa as well. And basically, you get more for your buck, but it goes back to the schools, to be honest. I mean, all our kids go to the same school, so when they come to a Park and Rec event, you can't start deciphering which kid goes to, you don't belong here, you belong here. It's kind of ingrained in our culture out here. We're one community, one school, one Park and Rec, so I'm hoping to continue that.
You feel the same way, Christine?
Yeah, I'm a bit of an outsider here because the Village of Romeo is really represented by both township supervisors in this process. And it was discussed that we would probably try and find a better way to appoint people to that commission so that there was equal representation from each one of the communities. But with that said, I know that these two dudes here, or sorry, dudes, supervisors are, their hearts are in the right place. They love this community just as much as I do, and at the end of the day, that's what matters. We're all here for the same end goal, which is to serve our residents, give back to our community, and lead by, example of how we should treat and respect each other, and just learn to work together, because there's the benefit to that.
How do you find will be best, what is the best way to work together?
Well, much like Lisa said in her speech, it's really just finding that common ground, right? I realize that Washington Township has, 4 times as many people as we have in the Village of Romeo, but that doesn't mean that the voices from the village residents are any less important than the Washington Township voices, and the same thing goes with Bruce. We all have our certain assets and resources that we each share. Romeo partners with Bruce on fire, right? Romeo is looking to partner with Washington Township to connect Washington Township better to the village through sidewalk system. I know up by the high school, we also talked to Sam about connecting Frontier Town up so that people could walk safely from the village down to Frontier Town. I just think the little things like that, where we can find the common ground and expand on it, again, to serve our residents.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, Sam Praviti, Mike Philbrook, and Christine Malzahn, I thank you for your time, and thank you very much. All right. At this time, it is my pleasure to speak with one of the most lovely people that I've had the privilege of meeting. I'm going to put this somewhere else. It's funny that it's down there.
Joe Warden, it always has a smile to give and a hand to lend. And I'm not making a money joke either at that point. At this point in time, I'm going to welcome up Joe Warden to discuss the Chambers Foundation and recognize our 2021 recipients of awards.
Thank you, Jennifer. Yeah, just a few comments on the newly formed Northern Macomb Foundation. The foundation was actually founded a few years ago, back in 2018. But this year, 2021, is the first year where we're actually doing the scholarships. We made progress during those years, and it's paid off to where we're actually giving back now, and that's why it's so great to have a few students with us. I did also want to mention a few who couldn't be here. So one of the things with our foundation this year, we brought in recognizing all the school districts across northern Macomb County. So not only Romeo schools, but then also Armada, New Haven, and Richmond. And it was welcomed greatly. They were so appreciative to be thought of that way as one area and to have one foundation who's looking out for northern Macomb. Our mission at the foundation is to support education, leadership, and workforce development. So we've got a great example today of how we're helping our young people as they take it to the next level. We've got a lot of great ideas as far as workforce development and what we're going to do in the future. And we look forward also to funding some programs for the schools and doing other things that will help with education. So the foundation's really just getting started. We're getting our traction. We need your help. And I know there's a card at each table. If you please would take this with you, take a good look at it. Check out our website at northernmacomb.org, and you're going to see a lot of good things happening. The three students that couldn't make it here today, I still wanted to mention them, and I know Lisa she'll still have that recognition for them, so that'll be great. But there was Gabrielle Packer from New Haven High School. She couldn't be with us today. Audrey Urema from Romeo. And then a young lady by the name of Jasmine Alfaro from Richmond. And I got to tell you, as we looked at scholarship applications, so impressive. You know, we were looking for community involvement, we were looking for leadership, we were looking for what you guys did during school, and it was just so impressive to read your essays and your thoughts for the future. That was another area, goals, and I got to tell you, we've got 3 people with us here today who are really going somewhere. So when I call your name, if you would, please stand up again. So we've got Serena Shaw. Sarah Himmelsbaugh. And these two young ladies are from Romeo schools. And then from Armada High School, Connor McKenzie. So if you would, I'd like to give one more big round of applause for them. And unless you guys would like to speak again, I wasn't planning on, I didn't know Lisa was going to do that with you, but come on up if you'd like to just tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Serena Shaw, and I'll be attending Siena Heights University, and I'll be going for a BA in the arts. And I just want to thank him and everybody, the foundation stuff, for making this happen today. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I went to Romeo High School, and I'll be attending Grand Valley for medicine. And I would also like to thank Mr. Warden and everyone here today for inviting me and having us out, and for everything that the foundation supports and has given us.
Hi everyone, my name is Connor and I graduated from Armada High School. Next year I plan on attending Michigan State in the Honors College to study mechanical engineering, and I'd also like to thank the foundation for their support for my academic goals, and just thank you for everything. So,
thank you. I actually feel short now. That's all I had to say, but please check out the foundation. We're going places, we're going to be doing good things, and we need your help. And, oh, there's Kelly.
On a closing note, I'd like to again thank everybody that came out and supported this event today. We had many people willing to sponsor this event for us. This is our first face-to-face, I think Jennifer alluded, since December 2019. This chamber is built on events, so for us last year, all we held was our golf outing. So we were fortunate to be able to get things rolling again, and with that on your table, we have our annual Night Under the Stars, which will be happening on August the 6th. Our 35th golf outing will be on September the 14th. And we have a member mixer this week at Guardian Angel Cemetery. I know nobody wants to go to the cemetery, but they do put on a pretty good party. So they're dying to get in, that's right. So with that, again, thank you everybody for joining us this afternoon. I hope you enjoyed the presentations, and we look forward to seeing you at our next event.